Hello, so these are my predictions for the 2019 March Madness. So first, between Duke and North Carolina Central and North Dakota State, the winner of that game, I have Duke. VCU and UCF, I have UCF because they have that one taco dude, and he's like super tall, and they just give it to him, and I think he'll be pretty good for defense and just dominate the game. Mississippi State and Liberty, I have Liberty, which is my first real upset. Because everybody's just saying to pick Liberty, so I just picked them. Virginia Tech and St. Louis, I picked Virginia Tech because they're just better. Maryland versus the winner of Belmont and Temple. Despite how everybody's saying that Belmont or Temple is going to beat them, I'm just going to stick with the Terrapins on this one because I don't like to pick the play-in game winners because what if they lose the play-in game? LSU and Yale, I picked LSU. A lot of people are saying to pick Yale, but I watched their game against Harvard, and the only reason they won is because they passed it to this one super tall dude at the end when they were losing to Harvard. And I think LSU's defense will just cancel him out. Louisville and Minnesota, I have Minnesota because they're like really fast and they have really good guards. Michigan State and Bradley's the next one. I have Michigan State. So that's the East. Now here in the West, I have Gonzaga beating the winner of Fairleigh Dickinson and Prairie View. I have Syracuse beating Baylor because, I don't know, Baylor just always chokes in March Madness, honestly. And Syracuse, I feel like they were a little underseeded. Marquette and Murray State, another 5-12 upset. I have Murray State winning because, honestly, Marquette, I don't think they're that good. Murray State's better. Florida State and Vermont, I was watching them play in the tournament, and so I just have them winning because they're pretty good. They're like my sleeper team. And I have them beating Arizona State or St. John's, whichever team wins. Texas Tech, I have them beating Northern Kentucky. Nevada, easy win against Florida. Florida's really not that good and totally overrated, in my opinion at least. Michigan and Montana, I have Michigan because, I don't know, they're a 2 seed. And Gardner-Webb, I have Virginia. They're going to bounce back from last year. Gosh, that was hilarious. By the way, I had them winning the whole thing last year, so that was kind of funny. So I have Ole Miss beating Oklahoma because Oklahoma doesn't have Colin Sexton anymore. Oregon, they're quite a sleeper for me. I have them beating Wisconsin because Oregon's coming in hot. They just won their conference tournament, and they're feeling good, and Wisconsin's kind of limping to the finish line. Kansas State, easy win against UC Irvine. A lot of people, well, not really a lot, but some people are saying UC Irvine might win. I don't know what they're thinking. Villanova beat St. Mary's. I don't care if St. Mary's beat Gonzaga in the tournament. In my opinion, that was just a fluke. Purdue versus Old Dominion, easy win for Purdue. Cincinnati beats Iowa. This one could get interesting. I picked Tennessee, but I had Cincinnati beating them because I feel like, honestly, Colgate might actually beat them. I think Tennessee will win more than I think Colgate will beat them, so that's why I picked Tennessee. But just in case Colgate does beat them, I picked Tennessee getting out against Cincinnati. I don't know, I just have a feeling because Tennessee, I saw them play, and I might be a bit biased because I didn't really watch them except for one game against, I think it was Auburn. Yeah, it was against Auburn, and they got creamed. It was honestly kind of funny. But, yeah, even though I only saw one game, they just did not look good in that game. Next up, North Carolina, Iona, easy win for UNC. Utah State beats Washington because of their high-powered offense. Washington's just not going to keep up. It's going to be a high-scoring game, though, I'll tell you that. I'll bet you both teams are in the high 80s or low 90s. Auburn beats New Mexico State, despite people saying New Mexico State would win. Kansas, easy win against Northeastern. Iowa State takes down Ohio State because they're just better, honestly, and they have, I don't know if they have more experience, but I'm just going to say that they do because I don't really know, but I feel like they do. Houston takes out Georgia State, even though they have that one, Hunter guy. I'm pretty sure they have. I really don't feel a whole lot confident with this one because I didn't watch a single game, but Wofford's the higher seed. I don't really know anything about either of these teams, so when in doubt, just pick the higher seed. I have Kentucky beating Abilene Christian, and that wraps it up. Second round, now it's going to be a lot quicker. So I have Duke beating UCF, because Duke has Zion, and he'll destroy Taco. I have Virginia Tech beating Liberty, because they're the higher seed. Have LSU beating Maryland, just in case one of these teams, Belmont or Temple, does beat Maryland. I'll have insurance for that. I have Michigan State beating Minnesota, because they're really hot right now. Gonzaga beats Syracuse. This is another one of my sleeper teams. Despite being a 4 seed, I think it's kind of a sleeper. I have Florida State beating Murray State, and taking on Gonzaga. Next up, I have Texas Tech beating Buffalo because they're the higher seed and they just have been playing great this year. Michigan beats Montana. And now on this other side, I have Virginia clobbering Ole Miss. I think Oregon will actually pull off against Kansas State. I think Kansas State will be pulled off guard because most of the time Kansas State's like an 8 or a 9 seed, and they're not used to being so high. And after facing a team that's not so good, they'll be caught off guard by Oregon, who's only a seed higher. I have Purdue beating why won't this focus? Okay, there we go. I have Purdue beating Villanova. I have Cincinnati beating Tennessee, like I said earlier. The reason why I have Purdue beating Villanova is because I forget what it was, but some dude said they were really good because of some reason. I forget, but yeah. As you can tell, I don't really follow it too much. I know enough to have reasonably good guesses. I'm not out here guessing Iona being ooh, Lona, huh, Gotti. I'm not that dumb, but as you can see, I don't really know a lot. Anyways, I have UNC beating Utah State because I just think Utah State's going to look terrible in that game against North Carolina. Their offense just won't work. I just have that feeling. I have Kansas beating Auburn because, I don't know, a lot of times, really good teams like the Patriots, even though they're not as good this year, they'll, still win a bunch for some reason. And Kansas has way more experience than Auburn. Way more. Houston beats Iowa State because, I don't know, I've always liked Houston. I picked them to go this far last year, and I think they did. It paid off. And they're just a great team, honestly. I think they went 31-3 or something. Probably wrong, but they did good. I have Kentucky beating Wofford, and that wraps it up for a second round. Next up, I have Duke and VTech. I have Duke winning that one once again because they have Zion, and they also have RJ Barrett. He's pretty good too. LSU loses to Michigan State because Michigan State is the hottest team in basketball. Florida State, my sleeper, beats Gonzaga because Gonzaga is busy picking their nose, and Florida State comes and takes it. They have some dude named Man. He's pretty good. They have a lot of just they're really deep. They have some dude named Poole, I'm pretty sure, and they're just super deep. They have a really deep bench, and they'll just in the first, mark my words, after the first half, Gonzaga will be beating them by 10. But then they'll come back and win because Gonzaga will be tired, and they won't. Texas Tech beats Michigan because Michigan they don't sound good. Just the name Michigan. Michigan State, when you say that, it's ooh, good. But when you say Michigan, it's eh, So, on that one, I just took it because of how it sounds, honestly. Virginia beats Oregon. Oregon, I'm not being ridiculous. This isn't the freaking Oregon Trail. Virginia's winning that one. Purdue beats Cincinnati because of that dude. Man, if that dude screws me over that I saw on TV, gosh. North Carolina beats Kansas. They're just better. Kentucky just beats Houston because they're just better once again. Although that one might be close. Houston might actually win that one, but I just think they'll be too tired because they're not used to making it that far. All right, next round. Duke beats Michigan State because they have Zion. Texas Tech beats Florida State because Florida State may be good, but they're not good enough to compete with Texas Tech. Also, Texas Tech has been they have just been screwed over so many times. I think they'll just have anger boiling inside of them. Same thing with Virginia. They're beating Purdue because they're remembering last year all this tournament and they're gonna kill it. I just have that feeling. And then I have North Carolina beating Kentucky because Kentucky's gonna be tired after running and gunning with Houston and playing against Wofford. Against two good offenses, they'll be tired, so UNC will kill them. UNC doesn't really play teams that would necessarily make them tired because Utah State makes most of their points by threes, not really running and gunning. I have Virginia beating North Carolina because after this game, now North Carolina's tired. Way more tired than Virginia because Purdue's more of a defensive team. So Virginia makes the championship. Duke beats Texas Tech. And Duke beats Virginia in the final. Let me know if there's anything you agree with, disagree with. And then say your sleeper team in the comments and say who you think is going to win. So, hope you enjoyed this. And, yeah.